Hello, Carl W Design, and hopefully another really quick tutorial. I'm just going to go over this sort of notion. So I found this beautiful little animated GIF on the internet. This is from Kevin Young Design, and I really like this little bit at the end. So if I play here, you can see it bevels open that top right corner. And I'm going to show you very quickly how you can do that using my Blender 2D graphics sort of paradigm, and we'll talk about a few other things as well. Okay, so let's get into it. I have got a basic scene just to get things started, so I've put in a big background plane with my white material, and I've got a default 1 meter cube which I've put my black material on. If you haven't seen any of my other tutorials, this is the setup. It's very simple, an emission shader going into a mix with this light path is camera ray as the factor. And if you have your color management all set like this, view transform default look base contrast, then you choose black under here, and black you shall get in the render. Very simple. So we can make 2D graphics like this. Okay, so let's get started. To start by sort of making the outline shape, I'm going to go into polygon selection and just grab, I need to just isolate this quickly, grab the front and back polygons and push I for inset. In fact, I'll go to the front view, I, and drag down a little bit like that. Okay, now under my quick favorites menu, I've been thinking about what tools to put in here because this is a new thing in 2.8, and so I've put bridge edge loops. This is a good one. Okay, and that will do that. It will connect them like that. So that will make our box shape. And now we need to talk about a few more little handy things. So if I push Control R, I can left click, and then that'll do a loop cut, and right click will put it in the center and drop the tool. So I'm just going to do that on all four sides, left click, right click, and then we can start to talk about this animation. So let's have a look at the original very quickly. So this thing in the beginning, or sort of in the middle I suppose, it will slide out so the box shape becomes, it looks like twice as wide. Then this black bit in the middle slides off to the left edge, and then the bevel happens. So we really want two shape keys for this, and the black box will be its own separate object. One shape key will be to double in width, and the other will be to bevel that corner. So let's get started with shape keys. I'm going to go back to object mode, add a basis, shape key 1, shape key 2. So this one can be the expand, I guess, and this one will be the bevel. Now the thing about the bevel is we're going to need to use a nice sort of many segment bevel. So we really need to actually make the bevel in the basis shape. And I'm sure there's another way you might be able to do this, but I think this will work just fine. So I am going to, we might need to isolate again. This is / on the numpad. We'll just isolate your object. I'm going to grab these two edges and Control X. We do not need them. They're going to cause a problem with our bevel. Okay, and then I'm going to go into front view and Shift Z to go into wireframe. 1 to go into vertice selection mode, and look at that, it's already selected them. I'm going to Control B for bevel, and because I just did a practice run earlier, it's already got 32 segments, but to change the segments you just roll the mouse wheel. Okay, so yours will look like this, just roll the mouse wheel up and just make it a nice number like 32. Okay, now the important thing here is that the clamp overlap is off, so that's C. If it's on, then you're going to get stuck there, and the top row will not continue beveling. If you push C, then it'll fix it up neatly like that. Profile, don't touch that, so that's P, just leave it alone. Vertex only, that's V, don't press that. And the mode, it should be just fine on width. A lot of these modes will work. depth, that works. Percent, that works, but you have to bevel quite a bit further, I think. What's that one? Offset, that works. So any of those modes. Okay, and then just click to confirm. So we have our bevel shape, but that is under the basis key. So then under the bevel key, what I'm going to do is remove the bevel, put it back to normal, and then the slider for the bevel will be sort of like beveling on and off, but in reverse. So it's fine, it works. So I'll quickly show you how to put it back to normal. So I'm going to A to deselect everything, C to bring up this little brush, and I'm going to grab all of these verts, but not the middle one there and not the middle one here. Okay, S to scale, 0 to scale them all down to a single point, and then Shift Y to not do that on the Y axis. So we only want to do it on the X and Z. Okay, click to confirm, and then we need to put this thing perfectly in line with the grid here. Unfortunately, this should work in a way that I can put it near the grid point I want, and then it should be Shift S and selection to grid. But in 2.8 it's not working for me. It's using the larger grid increments, so you can see how that has snapped it to like the grid increment on that scale. But when you're zoomed in, it should snap to when, you should be able to sort of zoom right in, and then I've actually got a shortcut key 8, and it should work. It should go to there, but it's not working. So here's a little trick. If I A to deselect everything, B, grab this one, N for the numerical panel, and I want to grab this X location, and it's an arbitrary 0.799 something, so just Control C with the mouse over that. A, deselect, B, box select, grab all those, and then Control V for X. Okay, that's pasted it in. You won't really see any difference because I put it really close. We're going to do the same thing here, but with Z. So Control C, select this one, Control V. Tiny little subtle change. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. And then with these ones, the top row of the bevel, I'm going to grab them like that. S, 0, Shift Y. Okay, this time I should be able to snap them to grid. Yep, I've got my shortcut key number 8. Okay, so now you can see that this bevel shape key will unbevel it, essentially. So we could start the animation with that value as 1, and then during the animation turn it to 0 to bevel. Okay, let's just have a look how that looks under shading. So I've got Eevee turned on to rendered mode. I come down here to my object data. Here's my bevel shape key. We can turn it off, and there you go. That's just like Kevin Young's version, I think. Okay, and then you could, we could use this expand. We haven't set that up yet. Let's do that quickly. So if I'm on the expand shape key, tab into edit mode, and then I will draw a box around all those. And we want this to end up twice as big, so we go like that, holding control, and it'll snap to the grid. Tab back to edit mode, and now you can see that the expand will work. Okay, and just to talk about a few more things, we could Shift A and put in another cube, and let's give that the same black material, and then under shading, you would animate that sliding off to the side. We need to, make our camera a little bit more zoomed out, so I'm going to play with the orthographic scale and zoom out a little bit. That's mostly what I wanted to show. These little handles, that's just another cube scaled down, and a little inset which you would make white. Text, that's just Shift A, text, and I'll quickly show that. Text, and then RX90, rotate it up to the correct orientation, and then of course sort of scale it down and put it into position, and you're going to want to move that ahead of everything on the Y, and it would need to have a white material. Okay, so you can put your brand there or whatever. And then very quickly I want to talk about all these little handles. That's just a cube with a shape key to expand, just like we did. These would be a cylinder on their side. I'll quickly show how we can do these. Okay, quick example. So if I Shift A, Mesh, Cylinder, we want to go into edit mode, RX90, and you know what, let's quickly start again. I'm going to make this a higher resolution. So in here, instead of 32 vertices, let's do 128. Just a nicer resolution. RX90, and let's just move it off to the side for now. It can be a lot smaller. I'm holding Control, and we will scale that down to 10%. And then what you would want to do is select that side, and then I for inset, and something like that. And then those you would want to be, the middle bit is white, the outer bit is black. So if we go back to a layout tab, I'm going to give this, give the whole thing black, and then push this little plus button and choose white for that slot, and then assign. Okay, so that would be the little circle handles, you know, and then you can use my sort of animation techniques I've shown in other tutorials to make these appear suddenly. So you can see how they're non-existent and then suddenly they appear. So you can either keyframe their visibility on and off, or you could keyframe their scale from 0 to suddenly 100% in the next frame, something like that, to make them suddenly appear. And then one last thing, let's talk about this beautiful Y animation. So if we have a look at how it works, it's around here. The little sort of Y shapes come into being slowly like that. And for that, I will leave a link in the description to my tutorial on how you can do this sort of thing with curves. And I did a quick little example with circles, but you could certainly do it with any arbitrary curve shape like this. And then it looks to me like he created a nice sort of curve shape like that, and then he duplicated it twice and rotated by 120 each time. That's what it looks like to me. And then it's a pretty simple animation where two or all three of them actually all just animate at the same time. So that's just like the turning on the it was an array of circles, which it's just easiest if you watch the tutorial of mine. Okay, so that's about it. That's what I wanted to show in this tutorial. Let's just quickly demonstrate one more time. So under shape keys, we can bevel like that. Okay, I hope that's been helpful to some people. If you want to see more tutorials like this, please leave a like and a positive comment, or let me know. I will be more than happy to receive constructive criticism. So until next time, thank you guys. Bye bye.